So we're going to get to Carnival Row, but I do want to ask you, if you came here as a fan, what cosplay would you do?
What cosplay would I do? I think I'd do something a bit left field. I think I'd do like Tank Girl, because that's not a thing anymore, but I will make it a thing, but still, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You're a Tank Girl fan.
I'm a Tank Girl fan, for sure.
So let's talk about Carnival Row. It looks amazing. You fly like a fairy.
I fly like a fairy. Yeah, it's really talking about immigration, refugees, classism, sexism, racism, elitism. It's a beautiful, beautiful land, and it's a neo-Victorian fantasy world with all these creatures and humans, and the kind of experience of the creatures fleeing their war-torn land and or being taken to the Burg, which is the city where the humans are, and forced to work, and trying to find their feet again. I play Vignette Stonemoss, and I'm a fairy, and I'm a pansexual fairy, so that's great.
Oh, so I was going to ask you, are there queer characters in this?
Yes, there are. I mean, so all fairies generally they don't see gender. It's all about who they are and their hearts. A lot of the things that weren't in the script, we made them so. Obviously, I didn't say I want to be a pansexual fairy, but it made sense that all fairies kind of just love who they love, and they are in a community, and they all look after each other's children. It's like a community thing.
So why should people watch the show? Because we are dealing with such serious, dark times when it comes to immigration and refugees and closing borders and opening borders. Is this an escape for people?
It's an escape, but it's also a lesson, and it's also something that really mirrors, but in such a beautiful way. And I think Game of Thrones has ended. This is not Game of Thrones, but this is Carnival Row, and it's the first of its kind. And I think with the characters and the incredible actors who are in it, and the storylines and the way they cross over and don't, it's something people can really get lost into, but also after you watch it, talk about. It's definitely a dinner conversation. It's definitely things that people are going to be talking about. In the trailer, they have one of the politicians going, "But go back to where you came from," and that just makes me shiver anyway, but that's what's happening in the world right now. So I think this kind of show is extremely important indeed.
And Orlando Bloom, a man who knows the fantasy world.
Apparently. That's what I've heard. No, he definitely does. He plays Philo, and, we're kind of star-crossed lovers, but in the eye of a tornado. But we'll see what happens there, because it's a bit of a mystery to it.
You come to Comic-Con, there are fans that are crazy, but there's also some toxic fandom. How do you deal with that?
I haven't actually seen any toxic fandom yet. People are fans, and it just can get to a certain level, but I don't know.
Because
I haven't.
At Game of Thrones, before the panel even started, the head of programming for Comic-Con came out and said to everyone, we're all fans. You may not like what happened in the final season, but please no booing.
Oh, wow, really? Yeah. That's intense. Yeah, we don't have that yet, so we'll see.
Do you think when that kind of stuff happens that a studio has a responsibility to sort of put a message out there? I
think when people love a show like that so much, there's always going to be things you don't like. That's the way it is. Shows aren't meant to be what you want it to be. They're meant to be, experienced, but you're not meant to have a decision. So of course you can have an opinion, but again, enjoy for what it is, and they've got new stuff coming out.
So what do you think of the Game of Thrones finale?
I don't watch it. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. I really, the thing is though,
What do you watch? What's your guilty pleasure TV?
I love Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is my idol. She's also a friend of mine, so I love her. Killing Eve. What else? Mrs. Maisel. I mean, I love a lot of the kind of female-driven shows, which are really good. But I will watch Game of Thrones one day. It's just I have to take a year off, which is never going to happen. Yeah.
Or two. Okay, you defended Taylor Swift the other day on Instagram. Yes, why was that important to you?
Taylor's my friend. She is one of my best friends. She's been there for me through a lot of stuff that people don't necessarily see, and I think people give her too much, diss her too much for not having these real friendships. Taylor's one of the realest people, and I will stick up for her whenever she needs, me to be there for her.
Does it hurt you?
She asked me to stick up for her. I very much did it of my own free will. So.
Does it hurt you to see? People again toxic. These haters really come after her.
Look, the whole situation is the way it is anyway. It's hard to get it out in public and then to get involved, but I think, those kind of things need to be sorted out. General beef is always bad anyway. Right. You might as well squash it and eat it anyway, but, that's for them to decide.
But you couldn't be in her video.
I wanted to be, trust me.
Talk about a queer person who should be in her video.
I know. I was going to go visit the set, but especially with all the Queer Eye boys, it would have been amazing. It's a great song.
Did you think that Taylor would be this big proponent of queer rights.
I did, yeah. I mean, she said to me I was one of the reasons why this kind of thing is so important, and I thought that was really sweet of her. I mean, she's definitely standing up for so much right now, and I think it's so important, especially her age demographic and the people and the fans that she reaches. You know, we really need someone, you know, in her position to be doing it. So thank you, Taylor. Yeah.
So tell me about the queer kids who reach out to you and say thank you.
You know, I've just done the thing for the Trevor Project, and it's one of my favorite things in the world for young boys, young girls, or old women, or old men, or anyone of any age to kind of come up to me and say, you know, you gave me a voice, or you gave me a fighting chance to tell someone this or that, or, you know, you helped me with depression. It really makes my job just so much better.